calm under pressure. That is what separates men from boys. Not your words, not your opinions, not your dreams. You're calm, because pressure is the truth serum of life. Pressure doesn't care what you claim. Pressure doesn't care what you post. Pressure doesn't care what you wished you were. Pressure shows what you are. And when pressure hits, most men become loud. They talk more. They argue more. They explain more. They blame more. They react more. They leak energy. They leak dignity. They leak control. Then they wonder why nobody trusts them. Nobody trusts a man who becomes chaos when life gets heavy. Calm is reliability. Calm is leadership. Calm is safety. Not soft safety. Real safety. The kind you feel when you know someone can handle the storm. And if you want to be a man worth following, you must become calm under pressure. Not calm when it's easy. Calm when it's hard. Calm when you're tired. Calm when you're insulted. Calm when your plans collapse. Calm when something goes wrong. Because something will go wrong. That's life. Life will test you. It will corner you. It will put weight on your chest. And the question is simple. Do you become a man who holds or a man who breaks? Most men break in small ways. First, they get a message they don't like, and their mood collapses. They get criticized, and they become defensive. They face a delay, and they get angry. They feel stress, and they run to food, or porn, or scrolling, or escape. They feel pressure, and they start negotiating with weakness. And over time, those small breaks become a habit of instability. And instability destroys everything a man touches. It destroys relationships. It destroys opportunities. It destroys reputation. It destroys self-respect. Because self-respect comes from self-command. And under pressure, self-command is revealed. So listen carefully. Calm under pressure is not a personality trait. It's not something you either have or you don't. It's a skill you train, a skill you earn. And the reason most men don't have it is because they haven't trained it. They trained comfort. They trained ease. They trained instant relief. They trained indulgence. They trained distraction. So when pressure comes, their system panics. It's not because they're weak forever. It's because they're unprepared. A man who wants calm must build a nervous system that doesn't treat discomfort like danger. Because that is what panic is. Panic is your body screaming, "This is danger." But life is full of discomfort that is not danger. Hard work is discomfort. Training is discomfort. Silence is discomfort. Hard conversations are discomfort. Responsibility is discomfort. So if you avoid discomfort daily, your nervous system becomes fragile. And then the smallest pressure feels like death. That is why men who live comfortable lives often feel anxious. They have no capacity. They have no tolerance. They have no armor. They are exposed. And the exposed man is always reactive. He's always one trigger away from snapping, one inconvenience away from collapse, one insult away from losing control. That is not manhood. That is instability wearing a man's body. So we fix it, not by pretending pressure doesn't exist, not by positive thinking, not by fancy phrases. We fix it by training for reality. Because calm under pressure comes from one thing: familiarity. When you have been in the fire enough times, the fire stops shocking you. When you have breathed through strain enough times, strain stops controlling you. When you have faced discomfort voluntarily, involuntary discomfort doesn't break you as easily. That is the path. The path is exposure. The path is voluntary hardship. The path is discipline. Because discipline is what keeps you stable when emotion tries to pull you apart. Let me tell you something simple and brutal. A man who cannot control his emotions cannot control his life. And I'm not saying you should be cold. I'm saying you should be governed. There is a difference. A governed man can feel anger without acting stupid. He can feel fear without running. He can feel stress without escaping. He can feel pressure without panicking. He can feel insulted without losing dignity. He can feel overwhelmed without collapsing. Because he has a code. He has standards. He has structure. He has training. He has a baseline of strength that does not depend on mood. Most men are ruled by mood. If they feel good, they act strong. If they feel bad, they act weak. That's not strength. That's condition-based behavior, and life does not care about your conditions. Life will demand execution when you are tired. Life will demand decisions when you are stressed. Life will demand leadership when you feel uncertain. So a man must become stable, not because it feels good, because it is necessary. Now understand the enemy. The enemy of calm is not pressure. The enemy of calm is interpretation. Two men can face the same pressure. One stays calm, the other loses his mind. Why? Because one interprets it as danger, the other interprets it as a task. That's the difference. Calm men simplify. They don't turn pressure into a story. They don't narrate. They don't dramatize. They don't create a tragedy in their head. They reduce. They ask, what is the mission? What is the next step? What is under my control? Then they move. That's why calm looks powerful. Because calm is focused. Calm is economy. Calm is wasted emotion removed. And you can learn it, but you must stop feeding chaos. Many men think calm is something you do only when pressure hits. No. Calm is something you build before pressure hits. You build it in how you wake up. If your mornings are chaotic, your mind is chaotic. You build it in how you speak. If your words are uncontrolled, your mind is uncontrolled. You build it in how you train. If your body is soft, your mind is often soft. You build it in how you handle cravings. If you obey every urge, you train helplessness. You build it in how you handle discomfort. If you escape every discomfort, you train panic. So calm under pressure is not a trick. It is a lifestyle of discipline that produces stability. It is standards that create a steady baseline, and the baseline is everything. Because when pressure spikes, you return to baseline. If baseline is stable, you stay stable. If baseline is chaos, you become chaos. So if you want calm, build the baseline. That starts with the body. A man who trains hard learns to breathe when his lungs burn. He learns to keep form when his muscles shake. He learns to hold his posture when discomfort rises. That training transfers. A man who never trains hard has not practiced staying composed while uncomfortable. So when life becomes uncomfortable, he panics. This is why physical discipline matters beyond aesthetics. It is nervous system training. It is breath training. It is pain training. It is self-command training. Your body is the first battlefield. If you win there, you win easier everywhere else. And then there is appetite, because appetite is where calm gets destroyed daily. A man who cannot tolerate stress will reach for relief. He will seek sugar, seek porn, seek scrolling, seek alcohol, seek comfort. And each time he does, he reinforces the lesson, I can't handle this without escape. That is how weakness grows. So if you want calm under pressure, you must stop using escape as medicine. Escape is not medicine. Escape is avoidance. Avoidance is fear. Fear is weakness. You want calm? Then you must practice staying with discomfort without running. When stress rises, you breathe. When craving hits, you delay. When you feel overwhelmed, you simplify and execute one step. And you do it again and again. This is not glamorous. This is not exciting. It is repetition. It is boring. It is discipline. And that's why it works. Now I want you to picture something. A house in a storm. Winds are screaming. Rain is hitting the walls. Everything outside is chaos. But the house stands because it was built well. Strong foundation, strong beams, strong structure. That is what you must become. A fortress, not a tent. A tent collapses in storms. A fortress absorbs storms. A fortress might shake, but it holds. So build your structure. Because the man without structure becomes fragile. He lives in reaction. He wakes up late. He wastes time. He rushes. He forgets things. He misses deadlines. He's always behind. And because he's always behind, he's always stressed. And because he's always stressed, he's always reactive. That is not life being hard. That is weak structure creating constant pressure. So one of the fastest ways to become calm under pressure is to remove unnecessary pressure. Not by avoiding challenge, but by removing chaos. Plan your day. Prepare tomorrow the night before. Control your environment. Control your sleep. Control your diet. Control your training. These are not small habits. These are calm-building habits. Because when the real storm comes, you don't want to be fighting storms you created yourself. A disciplined man does not create chaos and then call it bad luck. He builds order. Order is calm. Order is power. Now, let's talk about the moment pressure hits. Because pressure will hit. And when it hits, your first move matters. Most men make the same mistake. They tense their face, they tense their jaw, they tense their shoulders. Their breathing becomes shallow. Their vision narrows. They start thinking fast, but not clearly. They start speaking fast, but not wisely. They become a smaller version of themselves. That is the body entering panic. The solution is simple, but it must be trained. Breathe low and slow, not dramatic, controlled. Long exhale. Relax the face. Drop the shoulders. Widen your stance. This tells the nervous system, we are not dying. Then, you reduce the problem. You do not try to solve everything. You pick the next action. One action. Then, you do it. Action creates calm, not thinking. Action. Thinking without action creates fear. Action produces control. Now, I know some men will hear this and say, I can't stay calm. That's because you're lying to yourself. What you mean is, I am not used to staying calm. You are used to reacting, used to expression, used to explaining, used to anger, used to panic. Those are habits, and habits can be replaced. But you must be serious. You must stop treating calm as optional. Calm is a duty. If you want a family one day, calm is a duty. Because your wife and children will mirror you. If you become angry and chaotic under pressure, they will feel unsafe. Not physically unsafe, emotionally unsafe. And emotional safety is stability. A father is supposed to bring stability, not unpredictability. So calm is not something you do for yourself only. It is something you owe the people who depend on you. Even if you are alone now, the man you become is the man they will meet later. So build it now. Now, there is a deeper layer. Some men aren't reactive because pressure is big. They are reactive because ego is big. They take everything personally. A criticism becomes an attack. A boundary becomes disrespect. A delay becomes insult. A mistake becomes shame. So, they react, they defend, they fight, they justify. That is ego. And ego is fragile. If you want calm, you must shrink ego. A disciplined man does not need to win every argument. He does not need to be seen as perfect. He does not need to prove himself constantly. He focuses on mission. Mission creates calm, because mission is bigger than ego. So ask yourself in pressure moments, what matters here? Is it your pride or the mission? A warrior chooses mission. Now listen, calm under pressure does not mean you feel nothing. It means you do not leak. It means you do not spill your emotional energy onto the world like a child. It means you contain it, you hold it, you breathe through it, then you use it. Anger becomes fuel, not destruction. Fear becomes alertness, not paralysis. Stress becomes focus, not panic. This is emotional alchemy, and men must learn it if they want to become strong. Because the world will try to make you reactive. The world thrives on reaction. News thrives on reaction. Social media thrives on reaction. Weak people thrive on provoking reactions. If they can make you react, they control you. So calm is resistance. Calm is rebellion. Calm is power. When you are calm, you can see clearly. When you see clearly, you can decide. When you decide, you can act. When you act, you can win. A reactive man cannot see. He is blinded by emotion. So, he loses, not always in public, but in life. Now, let me give you a picture you should keep in your mind. A battlefield. Noise, smoke, confusion, men running, men shouting, steel clashing. In that environment, the man who panics dies. The man who stays calm reads the field. He sees openings. He moves with purpose. He conserves energy. He survives. Life is a battlefield. Not in violence, in pressure, in responsibility, in decisions. So you must become the calm man in the smoke, the one who does not run blindly, the one who does not shout out of fear, the one who looks, breathes, and executes. That is the man everyone trusts. That is the man who becomes a leader without asking for it. Because people naturally follow calm. They do not follow chaos. Now you might ask, how do I train this daily? You train it by choosing discomfort on purpose. You train it by hard training, not casual training. Hard training that forces your heart rate up and demands breath control. You train it by cold exposure and slow breathing. You train it by silence. 10 minutes a day with no stimulation, just you and your mind. Learning to be still. You train it by controlling appetite, by saying no when you crave. You train it by doing hard tasks first, not delaying, not procrastinating. Because procrastination creates constant pressure, and constant pressure creates constant reactivity. So you execute early, you clear tasks, you build order, and order builds calm. Then, when real pressure hits, you already live in a disciplined structure. You are not starting from chaos, you are starting from order. And order gives you space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to act. Now, let's be honest. There will be days you fail. There will be moments you react. You will snap. You will speak too fast. You will become impatient. That's not the end. The difference is what you do next. Weak men justify, strong men correct. Correction is the path. If you react, you own it, you calm down, you return to code, you make it right, then you train again. That is how calm is forged. Not by perfection, by correction, by honesty, by discipline. Now, I'll close with this. Pressure is not going away. The world is not going to become gentler. Life will still test you. So become the man who does not fear pressure. Become the man who welcomes it as a chance to prove the training. Because the man who is calm under pressure becomes a weapon. Not a weapon of destruction, a weapon of stability. a weapon of leadership, a weapon of protection, a weapon of truth. And that is what your family, your future, your brothers, and your own soul needs from you. Calm under pressure. Not tomorrow, now. Build it in your mornings. Build it in your training. Build it in your appetite control. Build it in your silence. Build it in your structure. Then when pressure hits, you will not be surprised. You will not panic. You will not leak. You will breathe. You will narrow the mission. You will execute. And people will feel it. They will feel that you are solid, that you are governed, that you are a man. That is the warrior's code.